I would just recommend that you think about all the things that will go wrong, because they will. But you know what goes right? Subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, asking me questions. That will help me grow this channel. And only you can do it. Reichswann's Red Jet, Palermo, Bachata, which is a yellow bell pepper, long conical sweet. Our best growing material, and we don't think we did any other amendments to it, and we just did simple dome lids. We probably sprayed karate just to keep the ants away. So it looks like we have the start of germination on these guys. So these are just very delicate seeds because these are bell pepper. Soil looks nice. It's a nice temperature, got good shade net. We'll check back on these guys in a little bit. They're not ready to fertilize or do anything. We're following Reichswann's guide to starting plants. We just did the grow well bags. We had the shade net position like this because sometimes it can just get hot. So we use the dome lids to keep the heat in. The germination rate should be in the 90s. So I wanted to really talk about growing peppers. Use a 418-38 tomato blend and you'll have good peppers. Reichswann Red Jet, Palermo, Chata, which is like a yellow bell, so a long, sweet, and then we have that. So the germination on that was really good. The one thing that I changed the most is, one, we stopped making our own mixture. We just bought Harbest potting soil. I know it's more expensive, but we wanted to make sure that our soil isn't the issue. All right, we had good thing. We started buying better seeds. But one thing that we've really tried to do is limit as much as possible. So we have a good nursery program. We've had good temperatures and we use dome lids. So we're combining everything together. It's actually worked really well to get good germination on track. Make sure you use the quality stuff. You really follow what I'm putting out there, then that's going to help you get good pepper production. And then that's the hardest part, is once you get that starting thing, now I'm just going to worry about cutworms here. And once I treat that, then I'm going to do Prevacure, which is a fungicide. I'm not too worried about it because the soil medium I already use is already treated, but we have crazy wet weather and whatnot. So, you know, there's always that, but I always like to treat with that. So even then, with minimal effort, we had a good yield. So that's step one. Now in about 3 weeks, we'll be transplanting so I can go on to the next part. I noticed some parts are a little dry, but I planted 2,000 seeds. So I'm only expected to have 1,600 plants that are gonna make it into the actual production greenhouse. That's the size I can grow. I can grow 1,600 pepper plants of any crop variety. They're gonna be 30 centimeters apart in there, and they're gonna be grown in soil. Other ones gonna be grown in bag. The issue of bell pepper is maintenance and labor. It's one of the big costs that we're gonna get. This is our Reichswann seeds. This is the Red Jet right here. You can see nice even germination. Palermo, Bachata, really good germination rate. And these guys will start to get fertilized now. So they look good, but at least the high quality, expensive seeds really did carry their weight. It's a good shot right there. So about maybe 2 weeks since sown. So it looks really good, but you can see some of them are starting to fall over. Right now, I would normally treat with Prevacure, and then I would use 418-38 Master Blend to treat this entire line and then get it to poof up and grow because they're starting to do their second leaves. There's a little bit of yellowing, so it's probably time to give them a little spritz of fertilizer. The stuff inside here is a mix of vermi, cocoa, carbonized rice hull, plus a soil conditioner type microbials. So here's a good sign of cutworms, so we got to do a little bit better job. I don't have much of the demo seeds, but I wanted to try them out. So I think that's Bachata and that's Palermo. So at least get those mixed into the bags, and then I should have more than enough seeds to fill out greenhouse 2. These guys, these are our bell peppers. These are green to red, Palermo, and those are yellows. They grow really good. This is about week 2, week 3, so they're getting close. I did notice that they were close together, so what I've done is I've spaced them out. Normally when we start them close like this, and then we space them out. And I also opened up the sunroof because today wasn't that hot. Sun's peeking out finally, but it's actually been a cloudy day in our other farm. So, you know, it's just what it is. So I also noticed that there was some dampening off and there was some damage. This is mainly due to dampening off. And then they kind of get weak and they fall over like that. It's not a cutworm. Cutworm will just take the whole thing, but it gets really weak where I noticed that. So most likely that's due to moist, humid conditions. And here at this farm, it's been hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. It's been ridiculous. So What I did is I had the guys open up the shade net, and then I spaced these guys out to give them a little bit, because I didn't notice it last week. Last week they were about half the size. This week I noticed it. So now we're starting fertigation nutrient program. So every day until they go into the greenhouse, they're going to get half a scoop of Master Blend, which is a 41838, and then they're going to get a dose of Prevacure once a week, which is by Bayer, and then they're going to get a dose of Karate just for when they go into the field. We're also going to treat them for Actara, which is from Syngenta. That's going to prevent biting, sucking. They're almost ready for an Actara. Actara, oh my God. The first time I ever sprayed that, the plants like turned white, almost like you just killed them all. Actara is a systemic insecticide that prevents longer term things. And because these are really targeted by humans and pests, we're going to make sure that we feed them. So we got a beautiful, nice island sunset going on there. So in greenhouse 2, we're prepping the field. We're doing soil. The reason why we're doing soil for this one is I don't trust doing bags, because our irrigation is hit or miss. It's just been a constant battle to get it to flow at the right rates. So I'm just going to put it in soil. So that's dolomite, that's organic grow well fertilizer, that's Dufos, that's humic acid. And then we're going to spray Mycosi, which is like a bio. One of the big things right now that I've been really stressing is that anybody comes inside the greenhouse, they are washing their feet a billion times, because we have Anthracosis in the field and just easily go here. We haven't planted in 6 months into here, so this has been nothing but baked in solar. So we're doing the works on the field. So everything, our lines, we're just going to do regular hard drip. This is easy, just got our line right into here, and then out we're doing 5 rows, 1,600 plants inside here. We're going to do 45 centimeters apart, 50 centimeters apart, and then a plant on each side. So then we're going to do 30 centimeters in the row. But the way the irrigation works is that it's going to have like one, then another is going to zigzag all the way down. That's the way to maximize the space. So we're just going to offset our drip pipes, and then there's going to be a plant every dripper. If you notice, we really raised our beds. That's just due to the finickiness of our irrigation system. It just will flow. All right, here is Reichwann's green to red jet peppers. These are looking really good. So I had them change the formulation. Normally we would just do a scoop of Master Blend 41838, and then I had them boost up and give half scoop of Yara's calcium nitrate. I noticed that there was just like, it was just like really wonky, so it must have been missing some nitrogen in there. So I decided to do these. I don't worry about turning yellow. It's these that were like that. So I think these can go into the ground. Otherwise, the uniformity of these guys has been really good, and you can see that they've slowly started to bounce back. They're actually starting to look like seedlings. I just think it's just time to put them in the ground. And I drug it out of the house, got it away from YouTube, except for you should give me a like, a subscribe, comment down below, ask me any questions. I'll gladly respond. I've been getting some great feedback over the past couple of weeks. Transplanting day, we got our Reichwann green to red, and we got our happy little helper pulling weeds before we put this into the soil. Over there we got Bachata and Palermo. Only did a sample pack on those, but our main market is the green to red ones. We're going to do about 360 plants for a total of 1,600 plants per row. So I just figured I would just give a time lapse and kind of a step-by-step process. What I'm having the guys do right now is they're prepping, de-weeding the beds, and then giving it a good rake, because we've got some dolomite on there. Dolomite's going to break down over the planting season as these guys grow. We're doing 30 centimeters between plants, and then 45 in between each other. So I give them more than enough room, and then it's going to be trellis to the overhead there. Let's go grab Chase. Yeah, green. Yeah. Something like that. Ooh, shovel. I was like, hand right in. All right, so we're doing 45 centimeters apart, 30 centimeters in row, all the way down. Our drip irrigation is going to be on the outside versus the inside, so that if we have to replace it or do anything, and then it'll work pretty good from there. That's one of the things that we learned. Is the other ones is if you bury it or mulch it, then it always breaks, and then you can't find the holes, and then you're like, well, why is this not getting fed? These things can be grown close together, but you have to give them space in between, because they're going to grow out into this row, that one's going to grow out into that row, so they have plenty of space to grow. One of the other reasons, other than the time, why we chose this time of the day, this is on our afternoon time, is because that's when we get our rain. So the greenhouse has already had its peak sun, so that we can now put the moisture into the ground, because your seedlings don't need a lot, but you're trying to prevent transplant shock. So we normally time it right with this. So normally 2 p.m. later in the day, once that peak heat has hit, and then you can have a good transplant. This is Reichwan's Green to Red, and then this is Palermo and probably Bachata. I can't remember which one, but these guys were a little bit bigger. Why they are a little bit bigger than the other ones is the cell size. This was a 50 cell versus a 128. If you get better and better at growing, I'm not. If you get better and better growing, then you can go down to the smaller trays. I've seen people even do it in like 200 cell trays, right? Because you just save on the amount of medium you use, and that saving as you scale your business will cut out right now. So the guys are going to go back through here straighten out the lines. We had a goal to get 320 plants per bed. So that's 320, 320, 320, 320, 320. So about 1,600 plants inside this greenhouse. Even at the closest spacing you can do peppers is like, this is about like 30 centimeters in between plants. I could only squeeze in about 280 a row. That's bad because that's 60 plants per row that I'm not getting. So I'm gonna have to look at how these guys grow, and then I might have to add more space. Now, we could have done 6 rows, but these guys are getting 45 centimeters between each other, and they're getting 30 in the row, and they're only gonna be 2 stem plants. I could do 3 stem, but most growers I've seen are doing 2 stem only. And it's just probably an easier thing. And that's talking about the maintenance that kind of gets out in this. And when you get later in the season, hope I get later in the season, then I'll show you about how much maintenance these guys can get, because they're compact. That's the seeds that I got from Reichwan. So it's one of those things is that they will eventually grow tall. Things that I worry about, these are actually baby leaves. These aren't true leaves. The only reason I kept them is because I wanted to see if they would actually be able to catch up. If they don't catch up, I'm not too worried about it. I got extra ones waiting, so I'm not too worried about that as well. But this looks good. Soil looks really wet. We didn't do plastic mulch because, one, irrigation is always breaking. These lines are probably a couple years old. They already have like patch jobs and everything else. They have our modification to make sure that we're not putting hot water on your plant. Don't put hot water on your plant roots. They won't like it. And then I think probably in about a week or so, they're going to start looking like this. And then they're going to go big like in the first video I showed you. So it's pretty good. Not too bad. Not too worried about it. Overall, I'm only worried about the plant population. But this really gives us a lot of space. You need a lot of space. You need 1 meter in betweens. Yes, you can do it a lot tighter. But I promise you, these guys are going to get so bushy and so big. I've seen them full grown. They're just a nightmare to manage when they grow. You just need to make sure that your worker pathway is good. And if you saw when we did 8 rows in here, it was still the same plant population. It was a nightmare. We were like going down the rows sideways. It could barely fit it. And that was like a ½ meter spacing. So yes, theoretically you could get 1,600 plants and 450 square meters. With that, that's pretty much all I got today. I'm just going to shoot some video of recording some drip, stretching out some lines, just taking a look at that. These guys look a lot better than some of the other ones, and it's been really good.